You're that movie critic. I thought you were dead.
The name's Tommy.
Oh yeah, Tommy Random. What are you doing here?
Well, I escaped from New York, and then I headed north. Maybe too far north. What's there to do around here anyway?
Well, we can make snow angels.
Forget it. I'm going back to New York.
50 subscribers, 50 subscribers, 50 subscribers, yeah!
Hello and welcome to a very special edition of Random Movie Time. So since we've hit our first milestone, we've got 50 subscribers, yay! We decided to do something special and take the next 6 weeks to honor requests made by our dear friends. So the first request was from Andrew. Thank you, Andrew. He asked us to discuss Escape from New York, which is one of our favorite films. It's a great classic, so we look forward to talking about it with you. So Escape from New York was directed by John Carpenter, released in 1981. And it has a heavy-hitting cast. It has Kurt Russell, of course, as Snake Plissken, Lee Van Cleef, Ernest Borgnine, Donald Pleasence, Isaac Hayes, Harry Dean Stanton, Adrienne Barbeau. Who's not in this film? Like, wow, what an all-star cast. And it really lives up to that. So for those of you who are not familiar with Escape from New York, first of all, I urge you to watch it. It's pretty damn amazing. But second of all, the plot is this fellow, first of all, it takes place in the future, well, in the future from the film. So it takes place in 1997, where Manhattan has been converted into a big prison where they just dump prisoners and they have to fend for themselves, and they have a big wall around the island of Manhattan because there's this massive war where the Soviet Union and China have made an alliance, and they're at war with the United States. And since that's happened, the crime rate in the United States has shot up to 400%. So they took this extreme measure. So the president, his Air Force One jet was hijacked by a dissident. They crashed it into New York. The president gets kidnapped by the Duke of New York, played by Mr. Isaac Hayes. And they recruit Snake Plissken, who is a veteran and who has just been dumped into the prison, is about to be dumped into the prison because he attempted a bank robbery. So they recruit Snake Plissken to rescue the president within 24 hours because the president has to attend a conference with very important information, and after 24 hours it'll be too late and it'll be over. So he has to get him out within 24 hours. The soundtrack as well is by John Carpenter, which is pretty amazing and as well. So, Mr. Snake Plissken is here with us today. Tommy, let us know what your thoughts on this are.
Well, I really love this movie. I went to see it when I was a kid with my dad in the cinema. And as far as action-packed movies go, it might not be the most action-packed action movie, but it's really got the atmosphere. Coming from John Carpenter, who's sort of the master of horror, it's almost like a horror movie atmosphere. It's always, you're always wondering what's coming around the corner in this sort of dark, deserted version of New York City. You've got, these sort of zombie-like people that live under the streets and come out of the manhole covers at night, so that sort of also made it feel a bit like a zombie movie at times. You've actually got a character who really looks like a zombie. His name is Romero, and there's another character named Cronenberg. I guess, they were having fun, naming their characters after famous horror directors. But one thing this movie has for sure is it has the best action movie character ever, who is Snake Plissken. And Snake Plissken is so iconic. He just doesn't care about anything. He doesn't care about anyone except for himself. They've described him as being a man who only cares about the next 30 seconds and nothing else. And he's doing his best Clint Eastwood voice in this movie.
President of what?
And he's got the iconic eye patch and the snake tattoo. Really, really cool character. Probably not a character you could get away with anymore in this sort of, PC world that we're living in now. Like, this guy actually, openly criticizes the President of the United States, for God's sakes. But, he's a quintessential loner. He does work with people sometimes, but they usually end up screwing him over or just failing to meet his expectations. Ernest Borgnine, very funny as Cabby. I think that this is one of Ernest Borgnine's more memorable roles. Harry Dean Stanton is great as Brain. He'd probably just finished filming Alien at this point. And so that was a nice 1-2 punch for him, appearing in two such iconic sci-fi movies back to back like that. Donald Pleasence was a little bit weird for the American president to almost have a British accent like that, but he does a good job.
More Southern.
Yeah, he was trying to sound more Southern.
Well, he didn't do a very good job.
Yeah, but he was good. You felt sorry for him, The Duke is like dressing him up like in a wig and
blonde wig. That was the best.
Yeah.
Aw. And of course they cut off his finger.
Yeah.
That's just awful.
Yeah. This movie sort of ominously predated some of the 9/11 events where you see, an airplane crashing into a building in New York City. Not the World Trade Center, although the World Trade Center is used in this movie. And I guess technically the World Trade Center was still standing in 1997, so that's not a continuity error.
No.
But great atmosphere. They had developed new lenses for this movie just around the time production started. Not for this movie, but there were new lenses that had come out which enabled them to shoot a lot of really good scenes in near darkness. John Carpenter said if they had started making a movie just a year before, they might not have been able to film it the way they did and get those really atmospheric shots of a deserted city, mainly filmed in St. Louis, actually. There had been a big fire in St. Louis a few years prior, and so you had all of these, sort of bombed out looking buildings and of about the same vintage as New York buildings, so there was
a lot of practical.
They did shoot in New York a little bit. At the Statue of Liberty, they got one of the shots of Commissioner Houck looking at the city when I believe there actually was a blackout when they filmed that particular shot. But then other shots of New York City are a matte painting done by James Cameron and some model work done by James Cameron of the helicopter coming in. But pretty good, especially for the time. It really holds up. And the soundscape, like you were saying, the music is so amazing. And just the sounds, the way they did this movie, it's really cool.
Yeah.
What did you think, Shannon?
Oh yeah, I love this movie. I mean, Snake Plissken is just one of the best movie heroes of all time, or if you can call me hero, I guess he is. But he's definitely one of the best and most memorable characters of all time. I mean, you know, they modeled the main character of Metal Gear Solid after him, and who just doesn't recognize him? Like, with that iconic eye patch and that scruffy look. Yeah, Kurt Russell did an amazing job. And of course, you know, he teams up really well with that crew, with who else?
Adrienne Barbeau.
Adrienne Barbeau, and wow, they do such a great job. John Carpenter co-wrote the film with Nick Castle. And I guess it makes sense because they were kind of like, you know, the president was, as a character, was coming off as like this kind of weak character who was very, he didn't have very much of a strong presence. And then when he was finally rescued, spoilers, sorry, when he was rescued, he went back to his old politician ways, you know, being very, oh, yes, and thank you very much, and blah, 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 and being just, you know, a fake politician, right? And it was written that way, I guess, because the script was written partly in response to the Watergate scandal. I guess they had a very dim view of American politics and the American president at that time because of Watergate and everything that was going on in the American political landscape. So this was kind of a reaction to that. And yeah, like you say, yeah, John Carpenter is known as the horror master, and you definitely get that feeling from this film. You know, it's kind of foggy and spooky and dangerous, and zombies everywhere, even though they're not technically zombies. They're just crazy people who live in the sewers and the subways. But and everybody seems very just, well, everybody's crazy, aren't they? They're all stuck in the Isle of Manhattan with no law. They just kind of, and they get food drops once a month or something like that. And so, yeah, it's really an interesting idea. And one great thing about it is that it's pretty unique. I mean, you don't really see anything like this. I mean, you do see action movies, right, where the president is threatened, or, you know, but this is a really interesting twist. And it really makes you think. I mean, who knows what's going to happen in the political future, but hopefully it doesn't come to this. And it doesn't, I mean, when you watch the movie, it seems a bit ridiculous. Everything seems so ridiculous, but then when you really think about it,
a little less ridiculous every year, maybe.
It's not that far off. Oh my God, I hope it doesn't happen. But, and I was thinking, oh man, wouldn't that be funny if all these criminals could set up their own little stores and stuff like that? I mean, there's a cabbie, for God's sakes. Why couldn't they set up a candy store or something? I don't know. And they sell pills, I guess. But, yeah, I know I have nothing but good things to say. I can't really think of anything that I really dislike about this film. I mean, like I say, it's ridiculous enough that you take it seriously. It doesn't go too much over the top, and it just has the right level of it. And it is a really good commentary too. But wow, what great characters. Fantastic characters. Really well written. And really well filmed. Absolutely fun from beginning to end. You just can't go wrong with this movie. It's an absolute classic. Yeah. Well, thanks, Andrew, for suggesting that one. Yeah, thanks. So how many cobras do you give this one out of 5?
5. Solid 5. I'd give it more if I could, but it's out of 5. Yeah. Absolute classic. What about you, Shannon? How many cobras?
Oh, definitely. 5 out of 5. 5 out of 5 cobras. If anybody has not seen that movie who is watching this video, give it a try. Really. It's really fantastic. And if you like John Carpenter, you'll definitely like this. Oh, that's what I was thinking of before. The Thing. You know, Kurt Russell teaming up with John Carpenter. They seem to get home runs. I mean, The Thing was amazing too. So, yeah, definitely give it a try. Well, thanks again, Andrew. And I guess that's all we have to say on that for now. And we will see you next week for the next request. Thanks for watching. And we'll see you next time on Random Movie Time.